Hello. This is a very, very important video. This video is, and I may have done it before, but if I did, I guess I'm doing it again because it's an important video. It's the video, Idealists are better than Realists. Idealists versus Realists. Who are the cool people? And Idealists in this day and age. Especially. I think idealists have always been better than the realists, but in this day and age, it's the idealists who are way better than the realists. The people who believe stuff for a reason, rather than the people who believe stuff because it's more convenient to believe that, or because they just know that if you have fancy starry-eyed ideas about stuff, it's not going to work out. A good example is like a conversation between an idealist and a realist would be like an idealist, i.e. a visionary, could be saying to the realist, i.e. a conservative person, pessimist person. He could be going, yo man, I've got a cool idea, bro. Actually, this isn't a conversation I really had. Every single town should, like, designate a field right in the town where, like, it's kind of like anarchy place. It's like anybody can just park their car and sleep for free, bro. And then the dude goes, no way. They should not allow that, because if they did allow that, it wouldn't work out, because people would fight and steal and poop in the grass and pee in the grass, and then I go, no, but they should allow it, and then see what happens. You know, you have to allow it and then have a case study and then see what the results are. You're not going to see what the results are if you don't allow the case study to happen. And yeah, too much of the time, the whole motivation for this video is too much of the time people don't even allow the case studies to happen in the first place. And we do have case studies, by the way. Like, for example, the legalization of drugs. Switzerland had a problem with heroin, and then they, like, opened up heroin clinics where people could try to do the heroin at the clinic, and it actually reduced the number of deaths there. Portugal had the same thing where they, like, legalized drugs and it had positive results. If you look at the Netherlands, marijuana and mushrooms were legal there, and Dutch people aren't stoners. You walk around and it's not like, hey, what? Where are my keys? You know, Dutch people are like really happy. They're doing their thing and they're capable, and it's a strong economy and it's a great place. And marijuana just happens to be legal too. Oh my God. So yeah. People just have a really, like, pessimistic idea, and they think the worst, and those people with the pessimistic idea and think the worst should not think that should not be the cool people. I don't say think they're the cool people, and they're not the people who go down in history as the movers and the shakers. The people who go down in history as the movers and the shakers are the original thinkers. You know, like hacks. Hacks aren't people who get famous. They're just people who just do something because it's easy. Some people, I mean, if you're really good at it, I guess you can get famous being a hack. Even Shakespeare, like, I guess one of his plays, what is it, Romeo and Juliet, was a hack from an old Greek story. I can't remember what they were called, but he did a lot of original stuff too, and he had an original writing style. So it's the original people who are the movers and the shakers and the doers. In the long run. Maybe not so much right now. Right now, at least on YouTube, you know, a lot of people who are popular are kind of like the funny people who get in their little niches and stuff. But we should be idealists. That's the point of the video. It's annoying if you envision a future that's utopian and where everybody's happy. And let's see, like, what's an example? Well, an example of the past, and I'll try to give an example of the present. An example of the past would have been people who wanted to abolish slavery. There were people who, the people who wanted to abolish slavery and were working to abolish slavery and stuff back in the 1850s, before or even before that, and said negative things about it, would get lambasted if they were to go and say that to the wrong people, like the people in the South. What, you're crazy? We're not ready for that. No way. But nowadays, it's like abolish slavery. Of course, it's like, oh my God, how could slavery have even lasted that long? And it's the same thing now. We have laws against gay marriage, and you still have these people these days who are like, no way, gay marriage isn't good. In fact, I saw this video of Bill O'Reilly, and he's like, I saw this thing where it was this high school yearbook, and the couple of the year were this lesbian girls, and I used to be a high school teacher, and I know those little lesbian girls, they're doing it just to irk the teachers, and we can't allow that. I think they need to keep their stuff for the privacy and their stuff for publicity and for public. And it's like, dude, if you heard yourself saying that in 100 years, you'd sound like a total asshole. Like, people who hear you saying that in 100 years, you're going to sound like a dick. Like, you have to be a visionary and realize that, number one, those little girls weren't trying to do it to irk everybody else. Like, they weren't pretending. They really were lesbians, and they really were the cutest couple. Sorry. So, you know, kids weren't trying to irk you. They were, and if they were kind of doing it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, they were just expressing their freedom, you know, and exercising it, which you have to do. But yeah, these days people still can say that stuff, and even the woman who was like kind of trying to justify the lesbian girls being the cutest couple, she was like pandering to Bill O'Reilly and being like nice and being like, oh, I know they're trying to irk, they're only doing that to try to irk the students, but still, they still do have the right. And he's like, no, they don't, they need to keep their stuff private. It's like, you know, people are still like that these days. And maybe it's because they just can't see into the future and they just don't have the brain power to see which way trends go. And I guess, you know, Bill O'Reilly's really popular just because he's the voice of a lot of idiots, and there's just a lot of idiots in America. But I'm just here on YouTube saying that the people who can see into the future and they see which way it's going, and are the cool people, and the people who base their judgments on a utopia, on an idealist place, rather than, you know, in a love-based place rather than a fear-based place. Those are the cool people. The people who are, you know, love-based. Like legalizing everything is love-based, because that sees every different kind of weird-ass person and just automatically assuming that they're cool. You know, well, I guess I'll talk about Bill O'Reilly again. Like, you know, you look at, he interviewed, Marilyn Manson. You know, I'd look at Marilyn Manson and see that like weird look he has and be like, oh, cool, man, nice style, bro. You know, or even see Marilyn Manson looking weird like that and sniffing cocaine in the middle of a park filled with lots of little kids, and I'd be like, you know, with his dick in his hand masturbating, and I'd be like, oh, cool, man, look. And somebody might be like, whoa, that's too much. And it's like, well, why? That's different from if he was like on top of a little kid raping him, you know. Because I'm looking at that through the eyes of like a utopian world, like where everybody gets to do literally whatever they want, because nobody's dangerous, you know. So anyways, yeah, Bill O'Reilly's like, yeah, like why are you dressed all weird like that? Like, you used to be normal, or, you know. And it's like, that's why are you freaked out about somebody else dressed like the way they are, you know? You're not him, you're dressed the way you are, you know? I could ask you why you're dressed in that sweaty ass 3-piece suit that you can't move around in, you know? Like, what's the deal with that, you know? a white shirt that you have to clean every day, so that because the collar gets so dirty all the time because it's white, you know. That seems weird to me, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's the communication that's the most important thing. But yeah, I think the people who are cool. Oh yeah, and I was making a video about this: trolls versus douchebags. People who are cool are people who look around at somebody, even if they're not like you, and just automatically assume that they're a good person. You know? Unless, of course, you've already met a bunch of people like that. They remind you of like a bunch of people you've met who are assholes. That would make sense, you know? But not to like be a dick to them, just like don't, and not because that's, I mean, that's your own personal problem that you have with them. You shouldn't bring that out. Just don't talk to them if they remind you of somebody. But if it's somebody new you've never seen before and they're just weird, then just assume that they're cool. And be the person who sees the light in other people instead of the darkness. And if you see the light in somebody and you act like it, they'll be able to tell, and they'll be more likely to try to act cool, you know, and act good. But there's just, I think the economy of the future is going to have to be more and more based off of trust. And the economy of the present is based more off trust than it was in the past. In the past, when you'd buy something, you know, people would have to travel around from town to town, or from this part of town to the next part of town, or go shopping or whatever with your big sword. You know, everybody had a huge long sword, broadsword with them. You know, and when they do negotiations, they'd have all their guys with the swords and stuff, you know, and then you'd have to count the money by yourself in front of the guys. And so, you know, the world that we are in now is based on the trust a lot more than it used to be. And in first world countries, it's based more on trust. You know, here in America, people trust, you know, somebody would like let you in your house to wash your windows, and they'd leave their house and they'd just leave you in there even though they don't know you. That would never happen in like a third world country or in the past, you know. So like an economy works better when people trust each other, because we don't spend as much money on security. And we do spend, I mean, we spend 20%, Americans spend 20% of our budget on defense, on the military. And that's fear-based and really expensive. And if we spent 20% of our budget providing internet and computers to third world countries, you know, and purifying their water and teaching them how to do birth control and educating them that way, I think the world would be better off. We'd have less of a problem with terrorists than what we're doing now, you know. Spending all that money, like, what, shooting people? Flying helicopters over, making people paranoid. Yeah, you have to kind of take that leap of faith and just believe in other people and assume the best of them. And the people who say that kind of stuff and try to purport that stuff should be seen as the cool, smart people. Especially if you live a life like that. You know, like me. I uploaded a video a couple weeks ago where I was like, yeah, this is where I'm staying. Look, this is the exact place where I'm living in my car. And people are like, what an idiot, you don't do that. You're going to get busted by the cops. I fucking hope you get busted by the cops. Oh my God, no, you got to be more stealthy. And it's like, dude, so I'm an idiot for like trying to share where I live and, you know, trying to get other people to like know where the cool places to go to. Like I should be cool for doing that, you know? And maybe you can call me an idiot if like you've had the personal experience of doing that, of like advertising where you're sleeping in your van on YouTube and then getting busted. I got busted, my brother got busted, or, you know. But if it's never happened before, don't like jump the gun, don't get trigger happy and be like, oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, fuck you, oh my God, what did you know, and then like start calling names off of that, off of somebody being too trusting, you know, because there's a word even, it's the tool. Like, that guy's a tool, that guy's a total nerd. He's a tool, he's easy to manipulate, he trusts people too much, he's too gullible. Well, I think gullible, calling somebody a gullible or a tool should be a compliment. Oh, that guy's awesome, I love him, he's such a tool. He's so gullible. You know? Well, I guess they wouldn't use that word. They'd have to, well, I guess that would be in the future when the meanings of the words change. But I guess in the meanings of the word now would be like, oh yeah, that guy's so cool, he'll help you out whenever. He'll do something just because you want him to. You know, he's so cool. He trusts you. He believes whatever you say, man. Yeah. So don't lie to him. He's awesome. You know. invite him to the party. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of how we should change. I think it's more. It's kind of like, you know, like high school mentality, or third world mentality, where the cool guy is the dude who's all like street smart. Like what? Street smart or just visionary? Visionary is cooler, I think. So yeah, idealists are cooler than the realists. I hope I made sense on this video. It's kind of a difficult subject. Maybe I'll do some more videos and get better at it. Ciao, ciao.